What's up, guys? Welcome back to Kick On Rugby channel. I'm your host, Dane Sherritt. We're officially halfway through the regular season of Super Rugby. You're kidding me. How quickly has that gone? How good has it been, though? It's been fantastic. Just getting my little fidget ball here. Been crazy. Been some unreal games, some unreal footy, crazy results. Who would have thought Crusaders are 0-5? Who would have thought that at the bottom of the table? I said in the preview of the Super Rugby that Crusaders weren't going to do as good as previous years because Razor's gone, MOANA's gone. I didn't think this bad. At the bottom, haven't got a win yet. Western Force picked up their first win last week against the Reds, who are at the top end of the table. Hurricanes are right on top, 5-0. Don't look like they're going to be stopped anytime soon. Looking fantastic. Had almost a full squad rotation last week and still put 50 points on the Rebels. How good has the Super Rugby been? Let me know in the comments, what have you enjoyed the most? Is your team doing good, or are you going to look for a new team to start supporting halfway through the season? We're going to get into it. Super Rugby Round 6 preview and team list changes, whatever else is going on. Let's get into it. First game, Crusaders versus Chiefs in Christchurch. Crusaders looking for their first W, their first win, desperate for it. Chiefs out and out favourites along with the Hurricanes to win the Super Rugby. They've only had one loss versus the Reds. Looking at the teams, Crusaders, Quinton Strange back in. Mitch Drummond, captain, back. He's in for Willie Hines, who's out. Dallas McLeod in for Havili. Big change. I think Havili's injured. And then Johnny McNichol comes into the starting lineup. Macca Springer jumps onto the bench. Whew. I mean, on paper, it's a good team, man. It's a good. They just need to. It just needs to do that. Just need a gel. Chiefs. Finau is out. Arcoy goes to the back row. There's a little shuffle in the locks with Selby Rickett coming in. Josh Lord there, obviously, as well. Massive changes in the halves. Xavier Rowe starting. Damien McKenzie having a week off. So I think it's Josh Jacom. I don't know how you pronounce the surname. Comes in for D-Mac. Massive change, that one. And then Imoni Narawai gets his first start for the season. With Rona going onto the bench. It's in Christchurch. Crusaders in all sorts. Desperate as. I don't think they've ever been this desperate for a win, or to at least play some sort of footy that you can build off of, because we haven't seen even that yet. They lost 9 of their own lineouts last week. Not good signs. Chiefs, obviously, I'd say killing it at the top end of the table. Have lost one game. I will say last week they got up to a good lead, but then let the Highlanders back into that game. That's something that they would want to look at. You want to get in a lead and ice those games, man. They were 20-something points up, let the Highlanders back in, and Highlanders got that losing bonus point. So that's something that the Chiefs will look at, not playing 60 minutes, but playing that full 80. I called an upset last week. I was thinking for Crusaders. I don't see it happening. Like, maybe because D-Mac isn't there, but they still got Shooter Stevenson. Etienne Satoro has been amazing. Quintupai has been really good for them as well. And Narawai comes in like Luke Jacobson, Kalen Bosher. Oh, man, I'm still Chiefs to win this one. Chiefs by, I'd say 10 plus. Moving on, we got WARATAHS Rebels in Sydney. Both teams desperate for a W. I think everyone is obviously desperate. Everyone wants Ws. Everyone wants wins, but I think WARATAHS are massive for a W. Like, Rebels have got their own shit going on. WARATAHS, with how much pressure was put on the coach before the season, WARATAHS really need a win here. Tom Ross comes in at prop. Swinton comes in as well in the forwards, adding that extra beef, that extra mongrel going forward, and an unchanged backline. Will Harrison onto the bench for his first game this season. And then great to see Lolokai Feketi back in. He's on the bench. Obviously had that neck injury. I think at the week of the first game, and was ruled out up until now. So it's good to see him back. For the Rebels, Matt Gibbon is in. Josh Kemeny comes into the forwards. Darby Lancaster, Rebels debut on the wing. And then Filippo Dongunu comes back. He's in at the centre. Hopefully they paid for his moving fees or his moving costs, his relocating costs. That was the big why he wasn't playing. But he's in. Big out, obviously, Andrew Kellaway not playing. He's been their he's been their man, their go-to in attack out wide. So the tough one for them. Will the 90 minutes from the WARATAHS game last week versus the DRUA go against them this week? Like I said, they played versus the DRUA in Fiji, 100% humidity, and they played into Golden Point. And most of those guys are all playing again this weekend. 6-day, I think, turnaround. Tough one, man. It never gets easier. Super Rugby doesn't get any easier. Rebels got thumped last week by a Chiefs B team. The only positive you can take out of that is they still scored their 4 tries, that's good. You get a losing bonus point there, or just a bonus point, scoring 4 tries. No, Kellaway, he's massive for them. He's been really good for them. Any opportunities out wide, he takes that with 2 hands. Give him the ball, give him a bit of space. He's making a line break, or he's causing chaos somewhere. I don't see, this is, because again, it's Aussie Derby. You never know what Waratahs team is going to rock up. I think they're desperate. They're going to make it happen for Darren Coleman. I'm going Waratahs by 8. Next, we got the Fijian DRUA versus the Force. Western Force in Fiji again. 2 massive wins for both of these teams last week. First win for Force. It was the first win for the Western Force, and DRUA played that 90-plus minute in Golden Point, winning it then. How good for them. But how will that affect them now for this weekend's game? It was a tough game last week. Yes, they went to a 26-10 halftime lead, but let Waratahs back. Credit to Waratahs for getting back into that game, and Fiji just had to keep pushing at it. They won in the end, but who knows what cost or what toll that takes on the Fijian players. Ikanaveri takes over as captain. Darren Alangi, I think he's injured or he's not playing. And then Momo comes in for Rakuru on the wing. It's a strong side, this Fijian side. Looking at the Force team, Princep comes in to start at 8 with an unchanged backline. I love Harry Potter at 15. Fantastic. Chase Tia as well. Whenever they get the ball, something always seems to happen. Obviously, Kunzel scored the 2 tries last week. Fantastic. Donaldson and Nick White's partnership, working a dream. Donaldson 3 try assists last week and kicking the absolute leather off a ball. And then Spink and Hamish Stewart have been unreal as well, especially in defense. Strong there. Man, can DRUA, can they keep that energy? Can Force bring the energy? Because we know DRUA will. But can DRUA keep that level from last week? Because last week would have been massive for them. That was a huge game. How that affected their bodies going into this week. But we know, DRUA at home, I've always said it, they're going to be unbeaten at home, and I don't think that's going to change, even though Western Force had a massive win last week, and it's starting to click for them. They're coming up against DRUA. It doesn't get any easier for any team. I'm going DRUA by 12. DRUA by 12. Next game, MOANA versus Auckland Blues. MOANA will want to bounce back after last week's thumping. Got 60 points put on them by the Brumbies. Blues on a high after last week's win over the Crusaders. The first time they beat Crusaders in Eden Park in 10 years, I think it was. Big captain Patrick Topolotu is back in there. 100 games last week. Fantastic. And he's playing again this week. Good to see. For MOANA, Julian Severe comes back into the midfield. So good. Good to have him back. Trucking the ball up. Good on defense. Fantastic on attack. Good just to have that experience of Leilofano and Julian Severe. Unreal for them. Surprising they've dropped Tamu Filau onto the bench. I thought he's been one of their best on the wing, but he's been dropped onto the bench. See how that goes. They might bring him on earlier because he's been a real impact, a real threat for them. For Blues, Segner and Choate come into the back row with Satutu there. Rico Ioane comes back into the squad, and Evans comes in for Sullivan at fullback. Sullivan out for 6 to 8 weeks, I think it is. Torn or injured his PCL ligament in his knee. Not good. He was also, man, in such good form. Rugby can sometimes just be unforgiving and sorry, here's an injury. It's tough, man. It's tough. Like I said, Blues riding high from last week. Massive win over Crusaders, 26-6. Strong squad, but good form in all positions. You do want to see a little bit more from their big name players, especially in the back line. Like your big name players in the forwards have been playing really well. Your Tuanga Fassi, really good. Satutu's been great. Papali'i's been great. But then in the back line, like you want your Mark Talia's, your Rico Ioane's to really start to put their hands up now. You've built nicely into the season. Let's go, man. Let's start scoring tries. I'm also saying this because they're in my fantasy team, captain and vice captain. Let's go. Let's go. MOANA still do really well when they get into teams 22. Their conversion rate from opportunities to scoring points is really high. They just need to get there and keep doing that. Easier said than done. It is, yeah, you want to say it's like a team still building, but they've been in the Super Rugby now for 2-3 years. Good, strong coaching squad. I guess needs time to gel together, and they just need to translate that into the games. It's a super exciting squad, and still big things to come, but I don't think that's going to happen in this weekend's game. Blues, it could get ugly, but I'll say Blues 20 plus. Blues 20 plus. Highlanders, Hurricanes, massive. I think it's in Dunedin, closed roof. Let's go. The students will be out. Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me. Highlanders can take a bit of confidence from last week's game. Yes, they lost, but they still clawed their way back in to get that losing bonus point versus the Chiefs. Caden's riding high. Of course, like 5-0, of course you're riding high. Even off last week's performance where a squad rotation of 13 changes, I think they made, and still put 50 points on MOANA. Unreal. Highlanders, they put 50 points on Rebels, not MOANA. Highlanders team, De Groot comes back in, Jonah Lowe comes in for red card, Talia. The Hurricanes wholesale changes. The big boys are back. Lakai's in, Roy Guard's in, Brett Cameron's in, Naholo, Morby, Love, that back three's in. Oof, let's go. Amua starting again. Fantastic, man. This is a team. I picked Chiefs at the start of the season, I picked Chiefs to win it. But Hurricanes looking a proper threat. Obviously, haven't lost yet. How good, man. How good. I don't see the Highland. Like, I don't see it. Maybe. No, it is a New Zealand derby after all. Anything can happen. They're always tough. Who knows? The weather won't play a role because I'm guessing it'll be, if it is in Dunedin, a closed roof. I don't see anyone getting to this Hurricane squad yet. Roy Guard's been unreal. Cameron has just been not overplaying his hand, just doing what he needs to do, kicking his goals, putting his guys into space, leading them around the park. It's been fantastic. And that back three, Naholo, Morby, and Love, unreal, man. Give them the ball, give them space. Just let them cook. Let them cook. I'm going Hurricanes 13 plus. Hurricanes 13 plus. And then the last one, rounding it out, Reds versus Brumbies, a true Aussie derby in Queensland. Reds looking to bounce back after a shock loss last week versus Force. No one saw that coming. And Brumbies obviously on a high, playing good footy, put 60 points on MOANA last week. Tumonga Allen comes in the front row for Reds. Pataya back on the wing. And then Lawson Crichton gets a chance on the bench for his first game for the season. Brumbies, the Lonergan brothers are back in at hooker and at 9. And then unchanged for the rest of it. Looking strong, looking good. Reds want to bounce back. The battle of the back row. Fraser McWright, Harry Wilson, Liam Wright versus Valentini, Charlie Cale, and Jerome Brown. And Jerome Brown's he's been doing a job there because he's keeping Luke Reimer out of the team. He's been doing fantastically well there. Strong ball carrier. They're all line-out options. And obviously Valentini is just unreal for them. Such a strong ball runner. Charlie Cale as well. Battle of the back row. Battle of the 10s. Tom Liner versus Noel Olasio. Olasio want to get back into that Wallaby setup. Tom Liner pushing for that. Big game. I don't even know. It's in Queensland. Man, I think with Brumbies' form of late, I'm gonna go Brumbies. I'm gonna go Brumbies by 5 in a nail biter. I'm gonna go Brumbies by 5. Corey Toole, Tom Wright been unreal for them. But Brumbies by 5. Let me know what you guys think. Have my tips been helping at all? I don't know. I did poorly last week, but let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.